Nukleuz here.
I'm DJ Macca.
This is Paul Louise.
My name's Robbie Edwards.
My name's MC Hurricane.
I'm DJ Reverend.
Hey, this is Mark Simon.
I'm John Edge.
Stevie Wonder.
Hi, this is Bob K.
I'm Les Calvert. I'm DJ City T.
Yes, this is JFMC. You're listening to the Couture 303 podcast with J Viper, baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Couture 303 podcast with me, J Viper, and it's a special one today. If you're watching this on YouTube, you might notice something a little bit different. You can fucking see me for the change rather than just hear me. If you're on Spotify or Amazon or Apple or anything like that, you might want to pop over to YouTube and have a little look at me, by the way. So today's guest is the Dark Lord of dance music himself, the one and only. He's a little bit ill. He's a little bit sick. He's a bit sick in the head as well, by the way. The one and only Mr. Gaz West.
How's it going, Jay? Nice one, mate.
Gaz, I really appreciate you doing this, mate. Thank you very much. I know you're not too good at the moment as well, so that's why we're doing this.
Oh, it's only a bit of a cold. I'll be all right. All right.
Oh, you'll be all right. I'll give it a little virtual cuddle, yeah.
Cheers, bro.
Bring it in. So thanks for doing this, mate. Really appreciate it. And we're using the power of the interweb. Using the web better than Spider-Man today, aren't we?
Never seen one.
Yeah, right. So I'll as I always do with all my guests, guys, I go right back to the start. So where and when were you born, mate?
I was born in Manchester, Oldham, Manchester, Greater Manchester, on the 19th of June, 1981. Ripe old age of 41.
Oh, fucking hell. Don't look a day over 40.
Oh, mate, there's hardly any grey on me. Doing all right.
So what was your youth like? Were you a good kid, bad kid, naughty kid?
Misunderstood kid. He's like, oh, I like yeah, no, I didn't have. I mean, I've got like a mint family support network and stuff like that, but I had a bit of a rough start to life, just the way I was, sort of thing. So I grew up in like residential school sort of thing. Was kicked out of primary school early doors and that. Yeah, so from about I don't know 7 all the way up till about I think I was 13 when I decided I better start sorting my head out, sort of thing. Yeah. So then started in mainstream school, but I boxed all the way through that, so that sort of kept me in certain discipline. I just had a problem with like authority, but not like I wasn't a nasty kid or out like that, but I just wanted to do stuff, and I felt like if I wasn't hurting anyone, no one really had a right to tell me that I couldn't do it. Do you get what I'm saying? Obviously, that's not the way the world works.
Yeah, the thing is though as well, I mean that kind of sums up society, because sometimes we get told to do stuff, especially now with all the COVID shit going on and all that. We get told to do stuff and we kind of go, why?
Yeah.
We're not necessarily being naughty or anti-authority. What anti-authority? What the fuck? Where's that?
Anti-authority, anti-establishment.
That's the one. Yeah. But sometimes you get asked to do something or told to do something, and you think, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like drugs. Yeah. So I'm not a massive drug taker. I'm not really interested in that sort. Oh, obviously, younger days and all that lot. But I feel like no one should be able to tell you. It should be like everything should be regulated, but nothing should be like illegal in that sense. Like you should. As a 41-year-old man, if I want to do heroin, then no one should. I don't want to. But
is that why you're not well, Gaz? Have you been jacking up in the corner?
Lemsip just ain't working, bro. Just a squirt of that heroin.
Train spotting the Manchester edition. No, but, I mean, you're spot on there. I think I've touched on this before in the past on a podcast. In a world where you can go to Asda and buy cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah, right.
Why can't you buy weed? Why can't you buy coke? Why can't you buy ecstasy? The biggest killers in our society is heart disease due to overdrinking or over smoking.
You're seeing banning McDonald's or fucking takeaways every night. Do you know what I mean? And the same with alcohol. Fucking hell, alcohol kills everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, it's madness, isn't it? But you can, because it's taxable.
Yeah, that's it.
And let's be honest, the war on drugs, as they call it, it's not working. People are still going to take drugs. People are still going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And there'll be more deaths and more illnesses and more catastrophes and fatalities because of it's all underworld.
Well, I have to look at the prohibition in America in the fucking 40s, 50s. It doesn't work. It just creates gangsters because people are still going to get what they want. They're just going to have to do it a different way. And, if you're doing it a different way, the rules are different,
You're telling me, I don't smoke, by the way. You're telling me if marijuana was legalised and sold in Asda and Tesco and stuff like that, you're trying to tell me that gun crime and knife crime wouldn't drop?
Of course it fucking would. Everyone would get fatter. Everyone would get over the crisps and that. But
and people would get richer.
Yeah. Well, the government would as well. But if you look at it like in America, some of the states and stuff, they've had to give like they've had to give tax breaks to everyone because they've earned that much money from it. Do you know what I mean? It's like just giving it all back, sort of thing. So
it's madness, isn't it? It's madness.
Regulate it. I think you should do that with everything. Switzerland do that, right? I think Switzerland do that. Nothing's illegal in Switzerland. I think, I don't know. I might be talking out my ass, but
and I bet you they don't have the gang crime and gang culture that we've got.
No, definitely not. That's what I mean. Because you create a black market if you prohibit things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway, so back to your boxing days. How did that kick off then? Was it because of like your sort of your attitude towards life? You found out you needed an outlet for your energy.
To be honest, more than anything, it was my mum was like, "Yo, you need sorting out." Do you know what I mean? So it was like at 5. I started, amateur boxing at 5, sort of thing. But just a constant. I've always been interested. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like I don't like conflict me at all, but I love violence. Violence might not be the right word. The idea of two people who want to compete against each other, I love that. It's super romantic to me. I've loved it all my life. Do you know what I mean? I'm obsessed with it, but takes a level of discipline. So I don't like to lose at anything either. So, obviously, getting to like 16, 17 and all that, all my mates are out every weekend on the beer and stuff, getting birds, and I'm there getting punched in the head. I'm thinking, you know what? I think I'm done. Yeah.
So there wasn't just the boxing, you had a little go with dancing as well, didn't you guys?
Oh, no way you brought that up. Yeah, it's funny enough, actually. So the music career sort of thing, so it was Goodgreef, massive Manchester brand. They was the one who sort of discovered me, Alex Kidd, and they signed me and all that lot. But the guy who owns it all, Barry Almond, he started off as a promoter in it. So like I was going Gatecrasher every weekend and clubbing and all that. That's how I met all those guys at first. Yes, I first worked for him as a fucking podium dancer. So, yeah.
And how long did that go on for?
Just did it the once. See you later. Never do.
Oh that. Yeah. I've never done this before. Honestly,
not the one. Not the one.
Yeah, all them lads. It's only the first inch that hurts,
Bro, when I was a right nipple at 18. I proper was. Do you know what I mean? I proper was. Just yeah. But anyway, it's what it is, isn't it?
So that's how you met Barry and that, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, through going clubbing every weekend. So we all used to go to Gatecrasher every weekend from like 1999, early days like that, and all the Manchester lot, everyone who went all go on a coach and stuff like that, and then would meet other people there and stuff like that. And everyone was just sort of like friendly all weekend in Sheffield. And then Barry started putting together a night. It started off as called Totally Mashed, and it was basically all the DJs that we knew from Sheffield and going to Gatecrasher, and then he put on a night like an after party sort of thing, and then all those DJs would play and just sort of built it from there. So everyone just sort of knew each other and all that lot, and obviously going out every weekend. I just stopped after a while. I think it was about 2002. I just stopped going out. I was, you know the one, mate. Every single week, I didn't Gatecrasher forever.
Casualty of the rave.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And it started falling off a bit as it does. You know what I mean? And then I just decided to I'm a bit of a contrarian. Me, all my friends got decks and stuff. Everyone was trying to think. So I don't want to do that if everyone else is doing it. So I thought, I'll make the motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So I just got into that side of it and then was instantly obsessed with it, where it was like, I just fucking didn't go out again for like 2 years.
So when did you start? How old were you when you started making music?
Let's see. So 2002, it will have been when I started. So I don't even know. How old was that? What is it? So I've been about 19, 18. 19,
and you started off on Dance EJ, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I got it free with fucking cornflakes or some shit like that. So I just like that. But I remember the music on the PlayStation. It was a similar vibe to that, where you was just taking pre-made loops of sounds or whatever, and then building a track. But I'm pretty good at remembering shit and like pick up patterns and stuff. So like I'd listen to music and I understood structure before anything else. So I understood, even though I'd never owned a set of decks or DJ'd or out like that, when I was listening, I used to think, what are those boring beats at the beginning? Why are they there? In my head sort of thing. And then I realised like, you need that for mixing sort of thing. But at the time I didn't, but I still put them in. I'd count like, depending on the speed, I'd count like 59 seconds of beats or whatever. And then I started recognizing grids and that. So I was putting it all together the right way. So like I'd listen to tunes and stuff, then try and mimic, the structure sort of thing. But I joined a website on the internet called Sample Setter. Funny enough, that's where Guyver started on there as well.
That's right. There's a few of them, wasn't it? I think Technical was on there as well, wasn't he?
Technical was on there as well. Pierre PNR was on there. There's a few of them. Lee Pash. Yeah, there's a few from like the HardDance scene. Anyway, so I was posting my tracks on there and stuff like that, and people said, yeah, they're good then, but they're not really your tracks, mate. What are you going on about? They fucking are. You know what I mean? But then there was like, nah, you've got to make your own loops using these things called synths and VSTs. I was like, that was it then. Fucking someone introduced me to Fruity Loops, and that was it. Then I just fucking went ham for about 4 years straight. Just fucking every minute of every day. It's all I wanted to do.
So before you started making music in that capacity, did you have any other musical background at all?
Nah, so not me, but my dad's always been lead singer and lead guitarist and stuff like that. He's always wanted me to get into music, like classic rock things like that, blues and stuff. But so I've always had a good ear for it. This is another thing as well. When you grow up in a house like mine, I've only ever heard good music. You get what I'm saying? It's only ever been really, really good music, all the greats and stuff like that. So because I'd never really heard like a bum note in my life. When it came to melody writing and stuff, I knew
it stood out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I was like, oh, nah, this isn't the one for me. Change it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I definitely had a bit of that passed on. But as far as like actually playing music, creating music, anything like that, nah. First time I ever did it was when I put Dance EJ on sort of thing. Well, music on the PlayStation 2000.
So do you remember the first track that you made that you put out there? And you got some kind of a feedback from it. Was it positive, or was your first ones a bit shit like everyone else?
Oh, do you mean like nah, because like I'd already sort of done all that with the Dance EJ shit, but I'd obsessed over that for a while. So I hyperfixate on things. I've got a bit of ADHD going on. Not a bit. I'm fucking riddled with it, but you know what I mean. But it helps me with things like when I hyperfixate on something I like, I get really fucking good at it really fast. Yeah. Like I say, I put weird patterns and shit from so I was pretty good straight away. Like in terms of structure, I knew what it was supposed to sound like. So as soon as I figured out making my own loops with things, using synths and stuff like that, it just came dead naturally to me, to be honest. And then the one thing that it wasn't was I didn't understand any of the technical side of it in terms of like, you know, getting everything to sit right, dynamics, compression, limiting. I never understood any of that shit. And I still don't, if I'm dead honest.
Let's be honest, that's the hard part, isn't it?
100,000,000%. But however, I was fortunate enough. There was a guy on there. I don't know. I know he was called Club Zero on the site, right? It was. I think he was somewhere in Europe. It was either Norway or somewhere like that. Anyway, dead nice guy, and he was like, he said, "There's loads of potential with these tracks and stuff." But then he'd take them, master them, and then send them out for me. So the first one was called Whacked, and John Whiteman picked it up for Hot Wax, and invited me down to do a couple of tracks down there, sort of thing. And I was like, "Oh, I've made it! I made it!" You know what I mean? Yeah, I remember coming back from that studio session. We did 2 tracks. I was fucking so happy. And not only that, I was a massive fan of Ingo. Remember Ingo, Paul?
Yeah.
Emails. I was like a massive fan at the time as well. His music was the shit to me, yeah. And when I went down to John Whiteman's studio, he'd come round and have a smoke and all that. I was like, oh my God, I'm sat with Ingo. Do you know what I mean? It was a mad thing. Yeah. But so yeah, to answer your question, pretty much got signed tracks out straight away.
Yeah.
Like,
so what was your first track that got released?
Say that again.
What was your first track that got released?
It was called Whacked. It was.
Sorry, you did say that.
Yeah. And then
what label was that on?
It was on John Whiteman's. It was called Rated, I think. It was basically, this is all when it was all vinyl as well. So he owned Hot Wax Records and he owned Hot Wax Tracks, but he had like a white label what he'd use to, you know, he only pressed limited amount of copies sort of thing. And that was called Rated. So we signed that to that. And then once he'd signed it, he invited me down to the studio. We did a couple of tracks. Then on Hot Wax, it was called 155 and Fantasy. And that was my first release, like on a picture and all that. It was fucking buzzing.
Was there money involved in that back then as well?
Mate, back in the day, yeah.
It was vinyl, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like for example, I released a track on vinyl when I first set the label up. Release a track. I don't know. Probably sell it for like I don't know how much. Varying like £7. Let's say for £7, I'd probably get about 4 or 5 quid of that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So you sell 1,000 copies, you're laughing, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know? And 1,000 copy was pretty easy to sell back then.
Yeah.
Now you sell it for £1.50 and you get 30p.
Yeah, brilliant. You know I mean? You're never getting rich off big ports, are you?
Nah, to be honest, I never got into this to be rich. Anyway, I'm not really a money-orientated sort of guy. I mean, obviously, we all need money, and I like doing things or having things, but not a materialistic guy. I don't need loads of money. My shit is I'm a bit of a show-off, so I like doing stuff and then watching people's reaction off it, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest, I just loved it. But at the time, I was obsessed with the music, so I loved them. It's all I cared about. Do you know what I mean? So anything like that, usually going to be pretty good at. Do you know what I mean? For obsessed sort of thing. But
I mean, I hear what you're saying about the money side of things, and I'm the same. I've been DJing on and off for fucking 20 odd years. I've earned very little off it, to be honest with you. But my bone of contention is, I don't care about earning money. If you want to put me on a stage and there's 1,000 people there and it's a free rave, I'm not asked.
Yeah.
If you're charging 10 pence each to get in, I
Yeah.
want my cut.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Because that's what you're saying there about you're not in this to make money. But unfortunately, there's people out there who are earning money off your name.
Totally get that.
They're earning money
It's
off
a
your
weird one. I
product.
don't want to single anyone out or any brands or anything because that'll be detrimental. But
Yeah.
what I will say is, the funny one sometimes because the smaller brands, the ones who are starting out, sometimes pay you more and treat you better.
Yeah.
So I've sort of had this thing, me, where those sort of people now, I drop my fee for those people rather than the opposite now. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a struggling scene. We've got to be honest about it. Do you know what I mean? It's not a mainstream scene. It's very niche. There's pockets of it all over the world, but it's never been a massive scene. Closest we got was like, I don't know, probably about 2005, 2006, a couple of things that got on, like Lisa Lassie's Extreme Euphoria and stuff like that. You know, they was about as close to mainstream as got. I mean, BK's had a couple of hits. Revolution was in the top 40, I think. So there's been parts of it where we've sort of get there. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's a very niche thing. Put it this way, if I'd have had the same level of success in trance or hip hop or something like that, I'd be rich.
Yeah. Of course you would, yeah. But it's still, I mean, we see it as like you say, we see it as like a big scene because it's quite a family orientated thing. The clubbing scene, the rave scene, everyone's like together, aren't they? It's a scene. It really is. You know,
to be honest, mate, that was the thing that got me. So I'd like before we started going to Gatecrasher and that, you know, I was out on the piss every weekend fighting and all that lot, same as every young lad does. Do you know what I mean? And then when I started going to Gatecrasher and everyone's dressed up, so I'm from a council estate in Manchester. I've never seen out like that before.
Yeah.
Everyone's
the fluffy boots and all that.
Yeah, but like proper, just being dead nice to each other and holding hands and all that lot. And it was like, it felt like my fucking summer of love. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, I'm into this is sick. And it was just a dead nice vibe sort of thing. So that was what got me hooked at first. I was meeting all these people from all over the country who were like seen every single weekend. It wasn't just a club night, it was an institution.
Yeah.
Everyone knew everyone. There was a hierarchy. It was a bit weird, but do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just a nice thing sort of thing. So that's what got me hooked first. And obviously the music was fucking, I like emotional music, me. I like music to have impact. It doesn't always have to be hard, but it has to do something to me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember going to a Goodgreef event. I think it was probably Phillips Park Hall or something like that.
Yeah, that's where I made my debut.
Was it?
Yeah, that's where I made my debut, yeah.
You played Bad Guy.
Yeah.
And I remember I might have been medicated. I might not. I'm just going to say. And I remember listening to that and thinking, this is the most fucking evil, sinister, fucking nasty thing I've ever heard in my life. And you didn't fucking release that for fucking years after that.
Oh, so what you've got to understand is as well, yeah, I've never played anyone else's music ever in my entire career. That's not because I don't like their music. I've wanted to a trillion times. Yeah. It's twofold. One, I wanted a selling point that no one else, I mean, there are other artists that do that, I'm sure, but probably not with a fucking 20-odd year career. Do you get what I'm saying? So I wanted it to be that way a little bit, but also I'd never owned a set of decks. So when I was DJing out, I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing, to be dead honest. So if I played my own tunes that I knew inside out, every beat, I'd heard them a million times, it was going to make that process easier. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So at first, my motives weren't fucking, you know, I just want to play my own music. It was shit. I don't know how to do this. I better just make my own shit. You know what I mean?
So how did you get back introduced to Goodgreef on the business side of things? And obviously they were more like friends to start off with.
Well, we was going like I said, I was going, so I knew more from going clubbing and stuff like that. And then when I'd stopped going out and it was just focused on making music and all that lot, with one of my best mates, Carl Prince, shout out Carl, legend of a man. He took a CD of mine and just gave it to Alex Kidd while I was out. He said, yo, check what Gaz is on, sort of thing. And from there, just immediately, there was like, do you want to do this? Can you make more music for Alex? We'd come in the studio, we'd do this. And I'd never even been on an airplane before that. And then it was taking me to Ireland, to gigs and stuff, just, you know, showing me the vibe and all that lot. I was with Alex every weekend. Just that minute, it was just giving me a taste of it from behind the curtain, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was it. And then that was it. Then just got a studio with Alex, and it was just like fucking pick me up every day. Studio, just work. You know, Alex.
Goodgreef Recordings, the label, pretty much come about because of you.
Yeah, no, that's why they set it up. That's literally why they set it up, because they had now had an in-house engineer. That's what they would got. Barry was paying me every week to just go in the studio on a wage sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It was mint. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Do you still speak to Alex now?
Yeah. Alex is my friend for life. I owe a lot to those boys, him and Alex, Barry and Alex. No way would I have done any of this if it weren't for those two. They was the ones who fucking, Phil York as well. He was the first person he ever engineered for. It was like, there's certain key people in this scene that I will always have a massive, massive debt to in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But it works both ways as well. Let's be honest. I mean, Goodgreef recordings came about because of you. So it's not just you need him and he. You know, you're both had a part in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, not just that at the time, because Alex was my mate, like we were together every day and all that lot. His sets were music that no one else had, because I could never give a fuck about any of that. I just wanted someone to say their minute. Do you know what I mean? So Alex, that guy, and he was. I think once I counted 14 of my tracks in one of his sets because he just proper championed. That was his sound and my sound at the same time. And it was at that particular era, it was no one had really heard out that, which is weird because all I did really, if I'm dead honest, was I took about 5 different artists that I liked, targeted them and thought, right, I'm going to take what you do there, you do there, you do there, and I'm going to add my sauce to it, sort of thing. That's all I did, and it just fucking blew up.
Your sauce was a very fucking hot sauce because I can remember quite specifically back then. No one was making tracks like you. I think that's what made you quite unique. You were obviously doing covers as well, which was adds the element of intrigue to them, you know, familiarity and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's it. 100%.
Nobody was playing. Yeah. Nobody was making or playing stuff that you were fucking playing. It was so hard and brutal.
Science to it thinking back, because like I say, I'd go to Gatecrasher every week and I loved the emotion of the tracks, but some of those tracks they lacked impact. So like they build and build and build, and then just sort of just
let you down.
Yeah, not let down, but just I wanted more. Do you know what I mean? So with that first shit, the shit that blew up that I did, it was just basically writing trance, but really fucking hard,
brutally hard.
I had so I wanted that impact. The melody was still there, the emotion, the feeling, and all that lot, but I wanted it to fucking smash your head in when it dropped. Do you know what I mean?
And it did.
Yeah. Well,
here's one for you. Tidy Weekender. I think it was. I'm gonna say Tidy Weekender 7. I might be wrong.
Right.
And for whatever reason, I've been following you online, and you just made Break Stuff by the cover of the Limp Bizkit track.
Yeah.
At the time, I had a false tooth on a pallet. And I was at Tidy Weekender when you dropped that tune, and I fucking spat me tooth out, and it's bouncing around on the fucking dance floor, and I'm looking around all these cyber fluffy boots, and I'm getting fucking me pallet smashed. Because I went to go, fucking hell, here it is. I mean, she went, phew.
I love that. Did you end up finding it?
Yeah, I got it back. Yeah, I got it back actually, and a couple of weeks after that, I used to take it out to eat. I put it on the arm of the couch, and I make me tea, and I heard the dog crunching something.
Oh no!
And I went, oh no, fucking hell! Walking around like a fucking smackhead for a week with no front tooth. Fucking hell! So when you went to how long were you using Fruity Loops before you went to Ableton, or was it a quick transition?
A while. Yeah, I don't like change very much, mate, to be honest, and. I'm a bit of a sucker for that. So like you'll see most people's studios that I go to, they've just got a million different fucking synths and plugins and all that. I'm not really that guy, me. I like to have a few that I learn inside out and then possibly move on to. I mean, obviously it's different if something groundbreaking comes out that I absolutely need, but I stayed on Fruity Loops for a long time because it did everything that I needed to. It was only when, let's see, I started doing live sets in Holland, Dance Valley and stuff like that, and they wanted me to do live sets. So I didn't, again, don't just, yeah, God knows what happened, mate.
Yeah. 1 sec, let me just check this out. There we go. Go on. So, yeah, you were going to Holland and you were doing live sets and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just used Ableton to sort of like piece together like a mix sort of thing. So I'd mix live on stage, and then I'd have like MIDI controllers and stuff like that for triggering sounds or triggering effects and stuff. Like a rotary, Behringer rotary mixer sort of controller sort of thing. It just wasn't very, very live, to be dead honest. But I started. The more that I used Ableton for that, I started thinking maybe I should try to do this. This seems to be the standard at the minute. And not only that, like, because I didn't not fully, I just didn't understand mastering and like the things that I needed to make. What I always noticed was I've always had a struggle with my music. So there's a detriment to making music as hard as I do, okay? There's a constant struggle between power and cleanliness. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you want to make kicks that fucking absolutely destroy everything, you've got to like you've got to understand the way dynamics work.
There's a sacrifice, isn't there?
Yeah, of course. Well, I didn't really give a shit about that for the first 10 years of my career. I just wanted to make really hard fucking music. So what I noticed was, like, when I played my tracks, the DJ on before me, their tracks were always much louder than mine, much cleaner. I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm having to redline everything to make it keep up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just didn't know what I was doing. Do you know what I mean? So I blamed that on Fruity Loops at the beginning. I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Do you know what I mean? So obviously not the case. So then I jumped onto Ableton and started trying to use it. I just made the jump one day and said that I'm done. I'm just going to use Ableton now. It didn't take me too long, to be honest, to get to. I'd already been producing for over a decade. So I know. I'll do things like that. But yeah. Anyway, once I jumped to Ableton, I was like, oh, this just works better for me. It's so much faster. So I don't like spending a lot of time on tracks at all. Like especially back then, I'd spend probably. Well, I mean, Severe Punishment was wrote in 2 hours from the beginning.
Okay, now.
2 hours done.
Absolute beast of a track that as well, though, isn't it?
Oh, but that's how it goes. Sometimes you can spend 2 weeks on something, tweaking it and all that, and it just doesn't. Other times you just jump on, it just happens.
Yeah.
Some of my best melodies and stuff was nowhere near a computer. That was what I was washing up.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes like that. That's the way it is with music. You keep plugging away, and sometimes you're going to get amazing shit, and sometimes you're just not.
Yeah. What's probably have you got a favourite track or a favourite era of tracks?
Of mine?
Yeah.
I've got tracks that are my favourite because of the reaction when I play them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my favourites. It's a funny one. So I'm a metalhead, me.
I know. Yeah.
And metal and hip hop. That's all. Well, no, I like bass. So I'm still stuck in the dubstep era as well. I fucking love that shit, mate.
Yeah.
It's ADHD music. It's perfect. There's lots going on all the time.
Twitchy and all that, yeah.
Right. But obviously, no one else is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of stuck in a time warp of just what I listen to. Like, I don't like any hip hop after 2000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm stuck. I just listen to the 90s hip hop. Do you get what I mean? And I just listen to the metal bands that I like.
Yeah.
Just a bit. I listen to everything, really. Do you know what I mean? So as far as like my music, usually it's a remix of something that I've enjoyed before. Chasing Status Time, for example. Do you know what I mean? Fucking that Azealia Banks tune, I can't remember, 212, whatever it's called. Do you know what I mean? Cunning Linguist's version.
Yeah.
That first drop after the 32 bars, that is one of my favourite things I've ever done.
Yeah?
Yeah, because when you mix it and it just says, I'm going to ruin you, cunt, and then drop. Just drop like a proper tribally bouncy beat. No matter what I played before, once I switched it at the end, I just watched the crowd.
Yeah.
So I love
mosh. I like mosh.
Yeah, mosh. Fucking
heavy. Dun, 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 dun. Like you're on a fucking go outside and knock fuck out of someone, doesn't it?
Fucking metal elements in that as well. Do you know what I mean? It's always. I just
hence the name, yeah.
That's it. I like impact. That's why me influence from those sort of things, you know.
Yeah. So you changed your although your musical styles have kind of evolved over the years, and obviously from your point of view, technically it's got better. You know, it's tighter, it's clear and stuff like that. But your actual physical image has changed quite a bit, hasn't it? I mean, what? Because I mean, when I first met you, it was Tidy Weekender again, probably fucking 7 or 8, and you were bouncing around, fucking shit-faced from Shally to Shally, and you look like someone who I wouldn't leave my car with. Now you look like someone I wouldn't leave my bed with.
It's weird because, like, up until about 16 or whatever, 17, 8, but yeah, I've always been like, you know, I don't want to say good-looking lad, but a good-looking lad. Do you know what I mean? So it was only like when I started doing this, because I was sat on my ass all day in the studio writing music for 2 years, just eating, not doing anything other than learning how to do this shit. So obviously, I got big, got to 21
You carried it off well. You didn't look fat. You just looked. It's mad because when they say people look like the dogs, you look like your music. you look like you were about to fucking kill someone.
I felt that way as well, though. I felt that way. So on stage and stuff, I was writing this really fucking hard music. I'm not an aggressive person. I'm a nice person, but I fucking feel that sort of shit. Do you know what I mean?
Couldn't be playing that with glasses on and a little fucking V-neck jumper.
No, and even now, you know, I might look thinking that. Don't get me wrong, on stage, I'm still fucking menacing. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel that music makes me feel like that. I remember pacing backwards and forward, looking at people like I wanted to eat them, because that's how the music made me feel.
Yeah.
You know, on a big stage, and I'm pretty chilled. Me, like, I like to keep myself to myself and all that. So you go from that to thousands of people on a big stage, makes you feel a certain way, and you're controlling them all as well. There's a weird vibe that comes from. That's what got me addicted. So even though that my musical taste changed over the years and all that, I'll always enjoy that, and not just that. It's fucking lovely to have people come up to me and say nice things and stuff like that over something I've done. Do you know what I mean? I'm always going to enjoy that. My support network's fucking ill. Like my fans, for lack of a better word, are proper nice people who I enjoy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I wanted to do this first and foremost, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of your music. I fucking, if I go back to like the mid 2000s, you wouldn't find a mix or a set of mine that didn't have at least one or two of your tracks in, always. Because, as I say, no one was making that. It was like, as you put it before, it's the impact, it's the fucking, the emotion, it's the passion. It was the fucking wallop. You know, like I say, there was certain ones of your tracks, and I used to say, and I might get kicked off for saying this, I used to say, some of your tracks, it makes me just want to grab a paedophile and beat him to death. Just, so aggressive and fucking.
That's how I felt. So you can imagine being on stage. Yeah. I made the motherfucker as well. Yeah. So I'm telling you, do you know what I mean? So,
to be honest with you, I started making music myself last year, the year before, on and off. I dip in and out of things, and obviously the podcast kind of getting bigger now as well. So I've got other things on the horizon as well. But I had my first experience, I think it was last year. I'd made about 4 tracks, and I did a mix of the 4 tracks, and I went for a run. And when you're running and you hear your music and then your music coming in on top of that, I mean, you must probably fucking used to that now, but for me,
I still remember that feeling, 100%.
Oh my God, I had a fucking belter run. I was fucking like that.
This is the thing, another thing that's kept me with the production as well. It's never ending. You don't complete this game. You don't just learn it all. No. You're still learning all the time. So
you never know all of it.
I'm learning something new every time. Do you know what I mean? So that's super appealing. Do you know what I mean? You're never going to reach perfection with this shit ever, because it doesn't exist.
Yeah. So what's your current projects then? Music wise.
Yeah, well, I've just brought the label back with my friend James. He's my new A&R, James Webster. Artist's name is Jim Zimmer. He's got a couple of tracks out now as well. Been working with him for years, like doing studio sessions, teaching and stuff like that. And he's just switched on, mate. And he's got really good taste with this sort of music. And you know, he's smarter than me, sort of thing, a little bit. So he's more grown up than me. Yeah. So we just talked, and it was just like, you know, he misses that side of things. So I said, well, set the fucking label up again. I'll make music. I'm always going to make music, but the amount of tracks that just sit on my computer, because I'm not asked. Do you know what I mean? I forget about them as soon as I've made them. That's, you know, I might
show. You put a figure on how many you've made roughly?
Oh, well over 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, well over.
Jesus Christ.
And some weeks I get obsessed again. Like you say, something will happen. Like I'll figure out a new trick, or I'll be inspired by some music or something, and I'll write 4 in a week. Just fucking done. Next one, jump on. I'll try that idea with this now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it's like that. Other times I'll go one without writing one. Do you know what I mean? It just depends where my head is, I suppose. But I mean, it's different when I've got work to do. If I've got to do this for a project or whatever, I'll force myself to do it. But I feel like, you know what the Muse is? Have you ever heard of the Muse? The Muse.
No.
Well, there's a theory that you have something in you. Every artist has something in there called the Muse. And basically, if you just show up to work every day, even if you don't want to, eventually the Muse will come along and chuck you an idea.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
like inspiration type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we call it writing block, don't they? You can't, you know, you lack inspiration and all that lot. We'll just go to work anyway, and the Muse will show up and it'll hook you up. Eventually, do you know what I mean?
If you book them, they will come.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what's your current job now? Because it's completely different to what the like. So you've got. So I think with musicians, especially DJs and stuff, it's not quite like the wrestling, but there's a character and then there's you.
Oh yeah.
So there's Dark by Design and there's Gaz West. Now, Dark by Design, like you say, he's nasty, he's evil, he's fucking menacing. Gaz West, as we've discussed today, you're quite an easygoing, chilling, loving kind of person. Yeah. That reflects in your work. So what's your current job?
Well, after spending so long the centre of attention, everything's about me. What flights do you want? What hotel do you want? Here's this money, here's that. Everyone look at him. You're on stage. That's as good as that sounds. After a bit, it gives you a bit of a weird vibe. You just feel selfish a little bit. Does that make any sense? So after doing it for so long, I just sort of figured I want to do something that's like not really about me as much, sort of thing. Yeah. So I went into doing care work, working at a step down service, which is like mental health people. So basically, once someone's been sectioned, once they're ready to rehabilitate, sort of thing, they go to like assisted living. So I worked in one of them where there was, we had customers there who would just spend my day like helping them, to get stuff, helping them out with things, and just being a good person, someone for him to trust and help him and get him back on the feet, sort of thing. I really, really enjoyed it. It felt different. Do you know what I mean? Like it was, it was a lot of money, but I'm never, like I said, I'm not asked about money. Never have been. So I just enjoyed it. It just made me feel nice, and I genuinely believed I was helping some people. Do you know what I mean? I mean, with the music as well, I get a lot of messages about, people saying you've no idea what time you got me through with this and all that lot. That to me is worth way more than any dough.
Yeah.
Because I'll spend dough. I'll never spend that. That's there forever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so there was a lot of that with that. So then to go into the care work and stuff and see that actually happening as well, physically. Like I've watched people be really, really not well, and then watched them fucking, do you know what I mean? Flying again. That's a sick feeling,
See, I think that's kind of what sets you aside as well. You're not after success. You're after the impact. You're after the what it does for other people. You don't make music to make money. You make music to make people go, oh, fucking hell.
That's it. 1,000,000%. You've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is. And I don't know if that's an ego thing where I want to stand back and go, check what I just did, or if it was just an innate desire to watch people fucking react. I don't know.
There's two ways to look at that. I mean, we're going off topic here now, but I had this conversation with Mrs. But it's weird because in society, this is completely out of left field now. In society, a girl who goes out and gets paid to have sex with people is frowned upon. Yeah. But a girl who goes out every Saturday and gives it away for nothing is she's a slag and all that, but it's not seen as, well, at least not a prostitute. And there's two ways to look at that. At least she's making fucking money out of it. Do you know what I mean? You're just giving your shit away. Yeah, who wants a fucking slice of that? You know what I mean? Fucking hell. So, but it's weird, isn't it? I have gone completely off topic here, but
no, I get what you're saying though. 100%. It's weird how things looked at.
Some people do things for money. Some people do things because they want to give pleasure. That's me point, I suppose. Yeah, but at least I'm not getting paid for it.
No, yeah. At least you're going to make
anyway, how did we get there? Fucking hell.
But yeah, so doing the care work and that, and then when COVID hit, things changed again. It was like fucking the music fucked off and all that. Really, there was no traveling and stuff. And so what it was with the place that I was working at, I'd started off as on an agency, but then they wanted to take me on full time. I'd only ever worked at this one place anyway. I literally had my first assignment was there. I never went to another place. Do you know what I mean? They fucking loved me and I loved them. So they asked me if
you don't like change.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's exactly it. Once I found what I like, that's me. I'm all right with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like what I like. And
I'm your new best friend, Gaz.
Yeah, standard, bro. So they wanted to take me on as a full time from the agency. So they had to pay a fucking finder's fee to the agency, all that lot. So they did all that. I had the interviews and stuff. And then they was trying to do me DBS checks. The DBS checks took more than 6 months. So by, because the way COVID were going and all that.
Wow, yeah.
They had to, and I couldn't work for the agency again because I'd left the agency to go through training. Yeah, it was just that weird, like a real strange set of circumstances. But basically what happened was they just had to give the position to someone. They needed the staff in there. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and obviously after 6 months, it was just like, my head with it again. I'm not doing this now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then afterwards, when COVID started dying down and stuff, my niece is she was a teacher at an SEN school dealing with like autistic kids and stuff. So she said to me, when you come and working at my school, you'd be great at it. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. And anyway, I did. I went. Yeah. And, so that was an experience. One of the nicest, but also hardest experiences of my life. I'll tell you now, right? I used to think hard men, were full of tattoos, bald head and muscles and chains and all that. That's not what hard men are. Hard men, wear Converse, plaid shirts, glasses, and get the shit kicked out of kids who just don't know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to go back every single day and do that for years. They're what real hard men is. That's what those schools have taught me. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Autism's a tough one because with some disabilities, you can see them. It's plain to see. My eldest daughter's 26, got Down syndrome. Yeah. People can see she's got Down syndrome straight away. If someone's physically disabled in a wheelchair, it's plain to see, that they walk a certain way or they're in a chair. Kids with autism, you just can't see it.
Yeah,
And,
but
and,
that's it. And
and
there's such a varying degree of the spectrum that
exactly.
there's certain kids that like present in a way where you would never guess it, and then only after having a 10-minute conversation, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
I'm on it. Yeah,
Where there's other kids who are non-verbal,
yeah,
so sensory that you can see straight away the second
yeah,
in. You know what I mean? It just depends. It just depends
yeah,
on it. But I absolutely loved that job. I loved it. It's just too far away, too early, too much
yeah,
time, too hard.
yeah.
It genuinely was too hard for me. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
I remember
mentally
I found my way
fucking
into work.
yeah.
Not be- so there was a lot of physical stuff that happened there and that, but that wasn't the bad bit. It was watching the kids upset after that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're being held or whatever. It was just a tough one for me to be dead honest.
There's certain jobs I couldn't do, and I'm working with kids in that capacity. I'd work with. I love kids. I'm the one who's goes an oldie and accosts kids. You know, other people's kids are fucking jumping all over me and all that. I'm a kid magnet.
Yeah, same.
But seeing kids unwell or seeing kids suffer or struggle, I'm like a bit like yourself, too emotional for stuff like that. I carry that shit around me for too long.
Well, yeah, exactly the same. So that was pretty much what happened with that. But then I still loved what I was doing, sort of thing. So I basically same guy, Carl, the one who gave Alex my CD, he was coming to my house and he was seeing me after work.
He's your muse.
Yeah, he is. He's my fucking spirit animal, Carl. Love him to death, mate. He's very similar. You know, been friends since we were 4-year-old. Do you know what I mean? He's still friends now. He's awesome. Anyway, he's coming to the house and that, and he was seeing me fucking black eyes and all that scratch all over all the time and stuff. He's like, bro, you can't be working there. That's too much. And I'm like, I know. So he used to play football with a guy in America years ago, like teaching kids football and stuff. And he said, listen, my mate's got a school and I'm telling you now he's looking for tutors. So he said, get on there with the music stuff. It's a behaviour school. So there's, there's still SEN, still special education needs, but it's more behaviour than anything. Do you know what I mean? There's kids in there on the spectrum and stuff like that. But yeah, most of the time it's just,
naughty kids.
I grew up like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that shit like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I've been there now, mate. And honestly, I love it more than traveling the world. I'm not even joking. That sounds stupid to say. I understand what people might think when I say that. I'm fucking telling you, I enjoy that job more than traveling the world playing music, for sure. It's mint. I love it. I love it. And again, feel like I'm making a change to people. I really am. The kids listen to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because I'm real with them as well. Do you know what I mean? How we do. Do you know what I mean? Exactly,
yeah. So how are you finding juggling the two things? Because you're still quite heavily involved in the music scene, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, school, the things about working in schools is you get fucking holidays every.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's a ton of them, and then I have a dedicated day in the week. So Wednesdays are my music days, basically, or whatever, media days, whatever I'm doing. That's what I take for Wednesdays. I can still do afternoons and evenings, and stuff. It's school hours, so there's plenty of time. It's and not just that. My bosses are super cool with me. They like. It's a very those sort of places are pretty flexible. You have to be.
Yeah.
The way things are, you know what I mean? So I find enough time. And then James, my A&R, he fucking cracks a whip the second he knows. Like he'll be probably a message.
Get that balance right, haven't you?
Yeah. So I manage.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm established now as well. It's not the same where I have to grind the same. I mean, if I want success, I still have to grind. That's how.
Of course, yeah.
Forget about that. It's the hard work that does it. You can be as talented as you want. You don't put the hard. But they say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Yeah.
The thing is, as well, people don't understand it. I think that the whole Twitch and Zoom society now, it's give people a false sense of security where they think they can just, put a camera in a bedroom, spin a few tunes, and that makes them a DJ.
Yeah.
There's the grind that goes with it. It's hard to break through. And I think, unfortunately, and I've learned this more the past couple of years, the best way to break through is to make music.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is the best way to become a DJ
no doubt about it. So I
is to make your own music.
Early doors. I was like, I was very fortunate because I managed to my first gig, I headlined Goodgreef with M-Zone. That was my first gig. My debut headlined. You know what I mean? I understand now that if it wasn't for the music, people have been DJing for 20 years who never reached that sort of thing. And I almost felt bad about it a little bit, but I understood then. I thought, you've got to make your own music because then you've got something you can bring to the table that's different than everyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. How was that first gig?
Shit myself.
Literally.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was wicked. I enjoyed it, of course.
Yeah.
I did. I still remember. I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's mad is, right? So my first gig was Phillips Park Hall, about 700 people there. My second gig was fucking mad show in Rotterdam, 7,000.
Fucking hell. Bit of a jump, like.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what the fuck? And I still didn't know what I was doing. I literally didn't know how to use the things I'd say to people. Do I press that button now? Do you know what I mean? I didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
The thing is, though, I think I might have had this conversation with someone else before. For in the UK, back in the day, say early 90s, you could get away with not being a particularly good DJ, like skills-wise.
Dad used to beat match baseline to baseline, done. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I suppose, well, that's not to say I suppose, but when you said about Rotterdam, I think other countries, they don't obsess as much as we do about the mixing side of things. I think, because let's be honest, in England now, everyone's a fucking DJ, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
So people go out now and they don't listen to the music. They're there with a critical ear. Oh, you should have brought that mid up a little bit there. Everyone's got a fucking bit of a train spot attitude.
You know something? That's sort of the curse of music production as well, or getting into it. So you can no longer just enjoy music; you're actively listening to it all the time. Well, at least I am. For me, I can
vouch for that.
Just think, shut the fuck up and listen, you dickhead. Just enjoy it.
You can't enjoy it for it. That's like a Boston dolly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. So we're gonna finish off now, Gaz.
Yeah.
With some quick fire questions.
Oh, fucking hell, here we go.
Don't worry, they're all easy.
Am I allowed to swear in here? I've swore all the way through it, Anna. Sorry.
Well, it's tough fucking shit now if it isn't, isn't it? Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees?
Jason Voorhees all day.
Most expensive luxury you've treated yourself to?
Probably a graphics card.
Who would you most like to spend time in the studio with?
My bird, Colette Cunyo.
KFC or Burger King?
Burger King, but I'm a bit mad about it.
Do you remember where you were on the turn of the millennium?
Yes. You want to know?
Go on.
I was at Don Valley Stadium at Gatecrasher off my neck.
Boxing or MMA?
MMA.
DJing. Which you enjoy more? Which do you enjoy more? DJing or production?
Production.
On chips, gravy or curry?
It's a bit of there's more variables to it than that. So,
I'm asking the wrong person here, aren't I?
Oh, sorry, bro. We have to break it down. No, it's quick fire. But if it's Chinese gravy or Chinese curry, then I'm all right. But I don't like the English curry. Get me?
What scares you?
Loved ones. Pain to me, loved ones. Fucking terrifies me.
Yeah. One thing you would rid from the world?
Pedos.
Building a sandcastle or building a snowman?
Snowman.
On chips again, red sauce or mayonnaise?
Red sauce.
Alive or dead? Who would you like to go and watch in concert?
Oh, that's a fucking good one. Tupac. Probably
Coke or Pepsi?
Don't care. No difference.
And the final question, what's the best podcast you've ever been on?
Oh, easily fucking... I think it's probably 303 Couture. Sorry, Martin, I'm sorry. I know you listened to this and got mad. You should have said
thanks for that, guys. So what have you got coming up then, mate?
I'm in Ireland twice in April, on the 1st and the 7th, North and the South. I'm in Somerset for the HardDance.
Somerset.
Yeah, HT weekender. That's going to be a belter.
Oh, the HardDance weekender.
Yeah, I'm told that I'm on the Tidy weekender. I keep being told every time I go, yeah, what's happening? They go, no, you're on it, don't worry, but not seen it yet. I'm told I'm on the weekender. I've got Japan in.
Wow.
So yeah, things are picking up again now. Like I say,
fantastic.
I'm probably going to give it. I'm going to give it a good shot now. Like put a lot, focus into it. This is another thing as well. I've never really appreciated it until I got older. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always thought, it's going to happen. So I didn't nurture it the way that I should have done, sort of thing. I feel like, whereas now I actually appreciate it.
Yeah. One thing we didn't touch on before, I was mentioning it now, the music production lessons. You did some stuff on Tidy. I did 2 of them
Masterclass,
classes myself. Yeah, I gained so much from them. And if you listen to the tracks I made, it's like they could easily just be in your recycle bin. You know what I mean? It's like a Wish. If you get Dark by Design tracks off Wish, that's what they were like. They were like shitty versions of yours. But honestly, I gained so much out of them. So is that something
brilliant.
you're going to do again, or do you do?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was approached to do it. And to be honest, Lee Haslam did approach me again, but I was so busy with the new careers trying to, get me like settled with it all sort of thing, which I've sort of done now. That I never really got back to, but I would do that again, yeah, for sure. I mean, I love teaching. I love teaching anyway. I love teaching at school. I just love teaching. I love fucking talking, apparently. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you haven't fucking shut up for the past 40 minutes, like. Well, it'd be a pretty fucking dull podcast if you didn't. Yeah. Right, so we're going to end on that, guys. Thank you very much for this. I really appreciate your time. I know you weren't feeling too good. I hope it was nice to have a little trip down memory lane and revisit some of your old memories.
Absolutely.
Thanks everyone for joining. Who's next? Who knows? I think the next one going to be out is going to be Davey T, and then we've got Rosala in April, and then whoever comes up in between. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and take care.